Volunteers with the Carl Junction Chamber help out a Joplin nonprofit after a break in the sprinkler system gushed thousands of gallons of water throughout the building in a matter of minutes. I'm Kate Kelly with the story just ahead.
McDonald County students are getting a much-needed gift from a nearby county. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with how this act of kindness reaches across state lines.
As advertised, we had a much colder Saturday, but we're going to wrap up the weekend tomorrow with warmer temperatures despite a cold front working in from the west. We'll see how your Sunday is looking with first weather coming up.
The Missouri Southern women on a 10-game winning streak heading into tonight's matchup against Northwest. Those highlights coming up in sports.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
First at 10 tonight, an update to a story we first brought you last night regarding an officer-involved shooting in Ottawa County. The suspect has been released from the hospital after the Ottawa County Sheriff says a deputy shot the suspect during a chase. That chase ended in Delaware County, where investigators say the man pulled out a gun before running off. Chin Doan from our affiliate KOTV in Tulsa has the latest.
30-year-old Trevor Schenkels is being treated at a Tulsa hospital. Once he's released from the hospital, he'll be booked into jail here. Now take a look. This is video showing Schenkels being loaded onto the helicopter after the deputy shot him into the thigh. Ottawa County Sheriff David Dean tells me around 4:30 this afternoon, another county asked his office to look for a stolen car. He says deputies found that car in Afton and tried to stop it, but Schenkels took off. Sheriff Dean says Schenkels led a female deputy into Delaware County near East 250 Road and Grandview Drive, then jumped out of the car and ran off. The sheriff says the deputy was by herself, told Schenkels to stop, but he turned around and pointed a gun at her, which forced her to fire multiple shots. He says Schenkels then took off running again, and search teams were able to find him an hour later north of where they stopped the chase. The sheriff says Schenkels did not fire any shots. Neighbors described the chaos.
It was a high-speed chase. The orange car went flying by, probably about 80 miles an hour. And the bad thing is some of the kids had just gotten off the school bus, and we were all pretty concerned and glad it ended.
Everything was handled great. And I want to thank all the agencies. I can't even tell you how many agencies was here to help set up a perimeter. We had a drone from the Miami Police Department up in the air, and luckily nobody else was hurt.
Now, the deputy who fired the shots is on paid leave while the OSBI investigates. That is standard practice.
Breaking overnight, a car crashes into the Carthage Police Department. Just after midnight this morning, an officer in Carthage saw on Garrison Avenue a car attempting to turn onto East 4th Street. The car went over some curbs and hit the west side of the Carthage Police Department. Officers at the scene say this is a DWI investigation. There was only one person in the car who was transported by a police cruiser to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And just before 9 this morning, a Joplin police officer on patrol noticed smoke coming from an office building in the 1600 block of West 29th Street. When the fire department arrived, they called in a second alarm. Crews closed West 29th Street while they fought the fire. Officials say the fire was under control a little after 9:30 and officially out just before 10 this morning. The fire department says the building was vacant and they are investigating the cause. A report of heavy black smoke leads firefighters to an RV camper burning and a woman with severe burns. The fire was reported in the 1500 block of West Zora. Officials say the woman was transported by ambulance to a Springfield burn unit with critical injuries. The fire was so intense that a large area was burned. Chief Joe Perkins with Carl Junction Fire Department says they've contacted the Missouri State Fire Marshal to help with the investigation. It was cold today, but the sun was out. Nick Kelly joins us.
Yeah, we always look for the positive in everything, Chris, and not to mention we kept things dry. Even though we had a quick cold front come on through the other day, we had a dry day, but like you said, downright cold. 18 this morning and only topping out at 32 degrees this afternoon. We stayed quiet this evening. We're going to stay quiet overnight, but you can see cloud cover building just to our north and west. That's cloud cover, partly cloudy skies we'll call it. That'll head our way, but you can see how we got an area of high pressure trying to get that south wind back into play. That will help us out despite a cold front coming our way. So what does that mean temperature-wise? Well, right now we're sitting in the lower to middle 20s. this is pretty much where we're going to stay as we go throughout the rest of the overnight. And I don't know why we just breezed through your day planner, but we are going to go into the upper 30s on your Sunday around noon and then top out in the lower 40s. So we are going to trend warmer for tomorrow, Chris. We'll take a better look at your Sunday and the rest of the week ahead here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. On January 22nd, a Joplin nonprofit dedicated to serving children and families suffered a major blow to its building. KOAM's Kate Kelly tells us what happened at the Alliance of Southwest Missouri and how the community is stepping up to support the organization through this challenge.
When a pipe burst in the sprinkler system of the attic at the Alliance of Southwest Missouri, thousands of gallons of water gushed through the building. An employee happened to be there on that Saturday and remembers it well.
I heard an explosion upstairs. By the time I could run upstairs, I would say within 1 minute, the entire upstairs was flooded.
Within minutes, Box was able to shut off the system, but the damage was done. Nearly half a foot of water was pouring down from upstairs, soaking everything in its path. But Box wasn't alone for long.
I think we had 6 personnel from the fire department, along with our director. Jen Black had sent out a mass email to all the employees. Within an hour, we had at least 15 to 20 people here. The fire department stuck around until we got all standing water out of this building, which prevented just mass destruction.
Insurance is helping to lift the burden, but it's still a challenge for this nonprofit.
They are going to be able to cover most of our furnishings, the reconstruction of the building, and our offices, our temporary office space. What they're not going to cover are the fact that we have had dryers and dehumidifiers and air purifiers blowing nonstop for almost 3 weeks at this point.
Through it all, the kindness of the community is keeping the organization going. Within 24 hours of the deluge, an anonymous donor offered to pay a $2,500 deductible. CJ Chamber volunteers called in extra hands to help sort and move items that could be salvaged.
Knowing what the Alliance is and what it stands for, our family, definitely would come back and help again.
Despite this setback, Black says the Alliance is moving forward with its vision for this building with its capital campaign and assures the public that any donated funds will go precisely where they're meant to.
We are not going to pull money from a place where donors have designated money towards the capital campaign, even though it would be so much easier and would expedite things. But we want to make sure we honor our donors, and we always want to do that. And so that money is earmarked for the capital campaign, and it will stay going towards the capital campaign.
To all its supporters, the Alliance says thank you.
Every dime we get goes right back to the public, so thank you to everybody out there that has helped us.
In Joplin, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Now, the Alliance has continued services throughout this ordeal and is now working out of a temporary office at the United Way in Joplin, and they'll be there for at least the next couple of months. If you'd like to help the Alliance, you can find out more information on how to donate or volunteer by checking out this story over at KOAMnewsnow.com. And full disclosure here, Kate Kelly is employed by the Alliance of Southwest Missouri. Now, that wasn't the Chamber's only project today. More volunteers from the Carl Junction Chamber came out to the Ronald McDonald House in Joplin to help deep clean and sanitize the building. The house has been short on volunteers since the start of the pandemic, making it more difficult for them to keep up on everything that needs to be done. So as part of a number of projects the CJ Chamber is working on, they added the Ronald McDonald House to that list.
We really want to give back to the community. The community has given so much to us, and the businesses that are part of the chamber really enjoy being part of the community. So this is a day for us to be able to give back to the not-for-profit organizations in town.
It really is important for us to rely on the community to help keep our house open and running. We are one of 185 houses around the world. We are the only house that's completely staffed by volunteers.
Now, if you'd like to help out the Ronald McDonald House, you can log on to their website at rmhjoplin.org and learn more about opportunities at the house. We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Sergeant Gary Mcavoy served in the Air Force from 1969 to 1972, his hometown, Lamar. We're proud to recognize Sergeant Gary Mcavoy, tonight's four-state hero. Still ahead on the KOAM News at 10, we're heading to Webb City for their JROTC competition. Welcome back. After seeing a need for shoes in the McDonald County School District, an organization and church one state over stepped in to help. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky was in Bella Vista, Arkansas, and has more on the teamwork that allowed about 174 brand new pairs of shoes to go to students in McDonald County.
McDonald County School District families traveled across the Missouri-Arkansas border Saturday for some help from their next state neighbors.
One of our teachers from one of our schools, I believe it was Knoll Elementary, had been in contact with some people from Samaritan's Feet, and they got to talking about some of the opportunities about giving shoes to the district.
Samaritan's Feet, an organization with the goal to ensure no child goes without shoes, teamed up with the Village Bible Church in Bella Vista, Arkansas to help out McDonald County students.
We've distributed over 8 million pairs of shoes across the world. In the United States, our core focus is to work with school systems just like McDonald County schools.
The distribution was held one state over, but it was only about 13 miles.
The need was found at McDonald County, and there are a lot of students there who are in need of shoes, and so we said, you know what, they are very close to us, just a few miles away. Sure, we'd love to serve there. And so even though we're not in McDonald County, we just saw the need there.
The church saw the need for shoes in the schools and got to work.
So we ordered 350 pairs of shoes. We're going to today serve about 175 students who need shoes. And then we're going to start a shoe locker in McDonald County for students and teachers and administrators. They see a need of a student needing shoes.
For McDonald County students, this act shows that kindness knows no bounds, even across state lines.
This is a community in Arkansas that's reaching across state lines to help a community in Missouri. And so when you look at this and when you look at caring and compassion, you can see that really there is no state line, we're all one community and we're all helping out each other. And so I think that this is just a fantastic example of that.
This was the first time Samaritan's Feet has reached out across state lines to help out. And they say it's a blessing. In Bella Vista, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Each student who registered not only got a new pair of shoes, they also received a bag filled with socks, a hygiene kit, and a hope note. Webb City High School hosted a competition for a program aimed at turning students into better citizens. The ROTC, a school-based officer training program, held a drill and rifle competition for high school students across Missouri. Students trained for this event hours before school even started, and it's all part of training them to be successful adults.
When we're trying to make them better citizens, this helps them be accountable and responsible, and they have to commit to the team and to themselves to be good and get competitive at it so they can win trophies at the end of the day.
Now, the program helps teens become accountable and responsible and is for all students, even those who don't wish to join the military in the future. Well, temperatures were perfect, at least for the name, of the polar plunge in Pittsburgh, but that made it very cold for those diving into what was, so we hear, 35-degree water. But that's okay, because there were warm hearts as hundreds raised money for Special Olympics Kansas.
This is a law enforcement torch run event, and I'm a part of the law enforcement torch run. I'm the state director, and all the money raised through this event goes to fund our Special Olympic athletes here in Kansas.
Now, this year's plunge took place at the Crimson Villa Apartments on Rouse Street in Pittsburgh. Journey Through Slime in Joplin hosted a very special Valentine's event today. Today was Be My Valen Slime. Organizers invited the entire family out for an opportunity to make some very unique Valentine's Day gifts. It was by reservation only, but your ticket got you a slime kit, a scoop of ice cream, a fountain drink, a special gift, some time at the photo booth, and even some time on the dance floor.
It's a sensory-focused studio, so we wanted it to be a place where families could come and make slime with their family. You know, there's also some, places in Joplin where families can just drop their children off and leave, but we wanted it to be where the families, the mom and dads, stayed with their children and enjoyed the experience too.
Now, today's event ran from 10 this morning to 8 this evening.
We enjoyed a pretty quiet day, even though it was quite a bit colder. We're going to trend warmer for the next few days while we watch for our next brewing storm system later this coming week. We'll break it all down with your forecast next. As Doug advertised, we are keeping quiet for this weekend so far and definitely trending colder today once we got past the cold front that swept on through the other day. But it was a dry front and certainly dry behind it today, so this view from Indigo Sky, whether it was throughout the course of the day or our live look now outside of Seneca, Missouri, showed a quiet Saturday all across the board. But even though we stayed quiet, again, we were behind that cold front, and that can certainly make a big change in temperatures in a big hurry. Take yesterday's example, topping out in the lower to middle 50s for highs, tanking into the upper teens to near 20 this morning, and only making it back into the lower 30s this afternoon. Thankfully, we are going to trend warmer over the next few days while we keep an eye on our next stronger storm system set to roll in by the middle of the week. But at 10:20, looking quiet again from 7th and range line. We'll call it mostly clear. Sitting at 24 right now with the south wind at 6 miles per hour. And even though that breeze is light and giving us a wind chill of 17, this is one key component that's going to help us out with temperatures this go around compared to the upper teens and lower 20s we saw this morning. Here's what I mean. Lower to middle 20s right now across our corner of Missouri, mid 20s across the rest of the region. The wind out there making it feel like the, let's say, upper teens to about the mid 20s, not too terrible, but the wind that we had today was more out of the west and even northwest at times, but we picked up on a southerly breeze once again as we got this evening really going, and we're going to hold on to that southerly breeze through the overnight. It's actually going to pick up a little bit. Couple that with some building cloud cover just to the northwest that'll come on in during the overnight. That's going to mean temperatures holding steady and maybe even warming a little bit before we hit sunrise in the morning. But even with the cloud cover coming in, it's ahead of a dry cold front. Nothing to worry about as this front rolls on through tomorrow, but at least we're getting that south wind back tonight with the developing high pressure right on top of us. Once those scoot along, nothing in the immediate horizon in the upper levels, but watch this upper level low out in the Gulf of Alaska. Doug, Michael, and I certainly will, because that's the next strong storm system on the way in, but it's still got a little time before it actually gets here. So in the short term, here we are at midnight, lower to middle 20s, holding steady there, and I would not be surprised even with some partly cloudy skies overnight quickly passing through. We trend a little warmer before we hit sunrise. So we'll have overnight lows right around 23, 24 degrees, maybe pushing into the upper 20s for some of you before we hit sunrise because of that southwest wind at 5 to 15. But even as that quick cold front passes through late tomorrow morning, it gives us a north breeze at 5 to 15 through the rest of the afternoon. We'll still trend warmer, 39 in the start of the afternoon out, if I can get it out correctly, and then topping out right around 41 degrees around Joplin and much of the region. Let's fast forward through Monday and Tuesday. You can see how we're back on the milder side of the jet upstairs. That pushes us into the 50s while we stay dry on Valentine's Day and 60s on your Tuesday. Then here's Wednesday. That low coming out of the Gulf of Alaska really digs deep in the desert southwest, brings our next system in here, rain, thunderstorms. I think any severe weather stays just to the south. Then once we get on the back side of this system before it departs, it could end as potentially a rain-snow mix as some of that moisture sticks around and as we drop into the 20s all day Thursday. But quiet time before we deal with that storm system, Chris. 41, mostly sunny tomorrow, 56 for your Valentine's Day, 64 on Tuesday. Then we'll deal with that midweek storm system once we hit Wednesday and Thursday.
Certainly looking forward to the warmer weather, and I like that this is a quick rebound as well, so that's not such a bad cold spell.
Yeah, and even after that storm system, after the 20s on Thursday, that's a quick cold snap. We'll just bounce right back after that.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Coming up in sports, it's going to be a tough one for the Gorillas. They host 21-ranked Missouri Western, and the Southern women are riding a 10-game win streak into today's game against Northwest. Danny Terzer's got those highlights and more coming up.
The Southern women are now on a 10-game winning streak. They're fresh off a huge win over 21-ranked Missouri Western, and that's the third-ranked team they've beaten this year. Southern tied for first place in the MIAA, hosting Northwest. Mallory McConkey dominates in the first bucket for 2. Lions down by 4 after 1. Then Lacey Stokes drives to the bucket, makes the tough shot. A few plays later, Amaya Johns for 3. Johns gets 14 today, 28-27 Southern at half. Maddie Stokes here turns a puts it in for 2, 6 points, 10 rebounds. We've got a tight one headed into the fourth, 41-40. Lacey Stokes now from behind the arc, 26 points, 6 rebounds. Another great day for the freshman. And as the final minute plays out, Lions fans are on their feet. 11 straight wins for Southern, 56-49 the final.
It was good in the aspect that we came out and our defense was tremendous again against Missouri Western and Northwest. And that's probably been carrying us over the last 10, 11 games. You know, offense, sometimes you're going to struggle. We struggled to make shots today, but our defense was there. And if we continue to guard like we have been, you know, we'll give ourselves a chance to win every ball game.
On the men's side, it's going to be a tough one for the Lions tonight. The Northwest men are ranked number 2 in the country. First half, Byron Alexander with the big two-handed jam. Then off the turnover, Winston Desiso behind the back pass. Avery Taggart finishes. And RJ Smith hits the bucket for 2, 16 points tonight. Lions down by 8. Lawson Jenkins in the corner knocks down the 3. He's fired up, 4 for 5 from 3. He finishes with a team-high 20. Southern within 6 at the break. The Lions play a tight second half, but fall on this one, 71-64. Over in Pittsburgh, the women playing Missouri Western, they fell to the Griffins earlier this year. Today, though, they pick up a huge win, beating the 21-ranked Griffins by 26. 79-53 is the final. The Gorillas are led by Tristan Gegg with 24 points, and Aaron Davis finishes with 12 points and 7 rebounds. The men record their second loss this week, falling 75-53 to Missouri Western. Magic Relaford scores 12, and Ryan Pippins adds 11. We're back right after this.
Make a final check of that forecast.
We're looking quiet, looking good for the night, although it's downright cold again. But we'll go right back to 41 tomorrow, 50s on Valentine's Day, 64 Tuesday, a nice bump in temperatures, Chris. Before sticking with Doug's pattern, we go right back into a stormy Wednesday and maybe another taste of winter Thursday.
A little bit of everything this week.
Pretty much.
Nick, thank you. Quick final check in sports, Danny.
Big win for the Pitt State women, 26 points over a ranked Missouri Western team.
They've been
Not too
doing
bad.
really well, too, here lately. I'm telling you, our
Absolutely.
basketball teams are really hitting it.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. That is our time for now. Remember, we're always on at KOAMNewsNow.com and, of course, with the KOAM News Now app. And thank you for making us part of your night.